Hello, my name is Brian. This is Football Manager 22. We're back in Malia, year 10. We don't really have much in the way of interesting transfers to cover, though I'll dip into that. We've played 2 games so far. We've won both of them. So have Barcelona, Real Madrid, Real Sociedad, and Atletico Madrid. Kind of a not surprising list of teams. Let us move to transfers just in case, just because. Why not? But really, nothing's changed. Nothing's happened. We've brought in some potential players, but yeah. We finally cashed in our deal for Cedric Konate Aholua, a center back who's 18, out of Asex Mimosas, is one of our affiliates that might actually have the potential to go do something. 13 pace, starting. Fairly determined mentality, so that's pretty good. We'd like to see his marking get up. His tackling's already 13. The technique being 16 is a little interesting. But his passing's a 7, so I'm not... Yeah. First touch is 11, 12 heading. He's 5'10". His jumping reach is a 9, right. I guess the question was, can I pivot him to defensive midfield or maybe... And he's either footed, so a fullback position. He's an interesting player. Not exactly sure what sort of player he is yet, though. Hopefully we figure that out with time. Baba Toure from Vitames Guimarães. It's a Portuguese side. I probably savagely pronounced them. Baba Toure here is 19. Potential left back. He's got 14 pace and 13 acceleration. Good stats there. Decent mentals. Technicals, again, kind of lacking. 11 marking, 10 tackling in terms of the defensive stuff. 7 crossing, 7 dribbling in terms of the offensive stuff. 11 first touch. 9 passing. If those things develop, we could have a real solid player. He's on loan at Alfaro. That is way farther down the league table than I'd like, but no one was willing to take a bite on him. Konate Alua is at Real Valladolid, which is in La Liga 2. And I think we had one more incoming, and it's Joseph Amondi from Simba SC. I believe in Tanzania, yes. I was not going to say Tanzania, but hey. And yet, again, another center back. 12 pace and acceleration, balanced mentality. Seems just kind of like a solid player. Someone we can make a profit from for $250,000, selling him out to some other top side. He's on loan back at Simba SC for the year. In terms of outgoings, we loaned Carlos Fernandez to Ibar. We loaned Eric Mabi to Sochaux. We loaned Azadine Boras to Fuenlabrada. We loaned those 2 we knew about. Dumbia to Ibiza. Ajali, the most important one because we think he has the best potential. Again, if he can just get that pace up. To Anderlecht in Belgium. Historically one of the better Belgian teams. And we actually have 2 loans from our youth team, so we're not going to have our best youth team available. We're loaning Jose Vicente, one of our wingers, to Castellon, and we've also agreed to loan out Ekong if he accepts the transfer, Quadri Ekong, to Hercules and or Real Murcia, I believe, in the 3rd tier. So that's it. We're not changing the team. We don't even have a backup keeper this year. Our backup keeper will be a guy from the B team who is bad. We might change this because this will be a African Cup of Nations a year. So come January, we're going to lose Babangida for at least 2 to 4 games, possibly more, along with a large portion of our team. So we might bring in some loanies in the winter window if we can, quickly, to fill in the gaps, because again, we're going to lose a bunch of players. But that's what we'll try to do, ideally. In terms of incoming players, we kind of have one in that Ordi Macchiati is a player we've had for a couple of years. We bought from TP Mazembe, again, one of our loanees. We've loaned him out to a variety of sides over the last couple of years, to Ibiza, to San Rafael. I believe that was part of I don't know. Then we loaned him out to Ibiza. They actually used him this time. 33 appearances in La Liga 2, 9 goals, 6.79 rating. The last 2 years he's been at Castellón, over 40 appearances, 14 and 18 goals, rating near 7. I felt he deserved a shot. We need a backup left winger. Ordi Macchiati is our guy there. So that's what the team looks like. I've been scouting. Trust me, I've been looking. Can't find any players that I even think. I throw out 3 defensive players to come in to be potential in the future, and that's it. So here is the Champions League draw. We are in the first pod, as I said we would be, with United, City, PSG, Milan, Porto, Hertha Berlin, and Everton. I believe Everton won the Europa League, United won the Champions League, and that means City won the English top flight. Second pod is Juventus, Liverpool, Inter. Okay, that's AC Milan up there, excuse me. Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Leipzig, Barcelona, Atalanta, and Benfica. Second group is still very dangerous. You really cross your fingers and hope for Benfica. Third group, Sporting Club de Portugal, Tottenham, Monaco, Mönchengladbach, Atletico Madrid, Rennes, Salzburg, Shakhtar. Still a good group. You hope for Salzburg, Shakhtar. Last group, Stuttgart, Rangers, Besiktas, Feyenoord, Astana, Epoel, Ghent, and Sint-Truiden. Sint-Truiden's a little bit of a surprise to me. Everyone else, not as much. Mostly you just kind of want to avoid Stuttgart, I think. So let's draw out the groups. The first round, we will be sitting in Group E. All right. So again, if we get to choose who we get here, we would choose to get Benfica. Obviously, we can't get Madrid or Barcelona. All right, our possibility is still here, and we have a 1-3 chance. Our other choices are Leipzig or Atalanta. I'm actually happy with all of those choices. And we get Benfica, so hey, I'm feeling pretty groovy about that. Let's see how punished we can get with this one. We cannot get Atletico into our group. Shakhtar goes early, so with Salzburg. Those are the two kind of easiest teams. Atletico, Rennes. We cannot get Sporting Club de Portugal, so we are going to have Tottenham, Monaco, Mönchengladbach. Based on the ratings and the supremacy of the English football, I'd just like to avoid Tottenham. I think I'd prefer Mönchengladbach over Monaco, but of course we get Tottenham. So there's a secret second team replacing Benfica in that sense anyways. So yeah, there are no Portuguese sides here, there are no English sides here, so there are no Spanish sides here, there's no restrictions for us. Stuttgart already gets drawn out, thankfully, into Porto's group. And so now we are down to Rangers, Besiktas, Feyenoord, or Ghent. We have some history with Feyenoord. We don't think we have any history with anyone else. Based on ratings, we clearly take Ghent, and there we don't play much continental football. But we'll take Feyenoord and thrash them the way we did in the draw. Now we need to power forward quickly. Reasonably happy with that group. I'm just going to not even look at that scouting information. I'll get back to it again because we have to plow through technically deadline day. I have no plans to make any moves. But it will still not be the fastest thing in the world before we have a very dangerous game against Barcelona on the road as our showcase. I will decline to participate, thank you. But still, if something pops up. We nearly lost Jeffrey Santos in this window. I believe it was Stuttgart who came in and activated his release clause of $40 million. We obviously didn't want that. We didn't have time to find a replacement. And the few replacements we thought were like comparable-ish would have taken $70 million, which would have eaten up all of our $40 million we would have just gotten, along with the $30 million or so we have stashed away currently. So, you know, it would have been frustrating to have that happen. Hey, Kasama has gotten called up to the Spain U21 side. Good for him in this upcoming international window. Valencia have made a big offer from Osameh and Sahore. Sure, good for them. And Marco Gui. And offer from Valencia. That's relatively cheap, given how he's a good player. He is 30, but he's a center back, I believe. So, unfortunately, we do have to praise our players, because that is how you get the best performance out of them, as well as better training. It's not something like scouting where I can afford to skip it for like scouting where I can skip it and just get back to it off video. This could have, you know, actual impact on the game we're about to see, making sure all the players have optimum morale, or at least anyone who had training worth praising, which is 2 more players, Sammy and Steven Cessignon. I actually don't remember where the cut line is, but I just praise 8.25 and above, and I know that's safe. Alright, looks like that's probably the roundup on the day. Nothing much happened. Of course, I tried my best to tempt innocent Makalane away from Kansas City. He has still shown no interest in leaving. We'll try again in the winter window. He is the world's most aggravating player. He's clearly a top 5 league caliber player, with potential, I think, that might lead him to be a legitimate, like, Champions League contender type player, starter on a Champions League type team, and he's just content to play at Sporting Kansas City right now. It's one of those things where you'd be like, hey, I get it if we were just going to sit him on the bench, but he's going to start like every other game for us. Let's see. No, that's silly. Santos, Kone. No, I'm going to search Sergio Kone up top. Hassan got a minor injury. He's back for the first time. Sami Hamidi, Kasama. We got to flip those two. As you can see, after a full year of the team not changing, we do have positive links at kind of everywhere in our regular starting position. Yusuf is slightly injured. Let's give Anu an option. And if Bob Mangita gets injured in a game, a outfield player is going to have to put on the gloves. All right, they come out in a 4-2-3-1. Probably most worried about their right winger. He's given me some problems in the past. Our red and black stripes versus their blue and red stripes. Gaibo plays it back to Hamidi. Ball's played forward, looking for Aristide Kone, but too far. Manti will play it long. Hamidi heads it away, but it just goes out of bounds. Well, that was rude. That was a professional foul if I've ever seen one. Yeah. Let's see if we can do anything with this free kick. It'll be a bit far away. Hassan will take it. Goes for goal. Unfortunately, that distance means Manti does get in front of it. You know, just once again trying to figure out where our team is strong, where our team is weak. ratings-wise, even Hassan last year was a below 7 rating, which kind of constitutes the low on our quality team. But I don't really think we're going to find better players than Hassan necessarily. The players better than Hassan at anything resembling a reasonable budget. I think Hassan's a very good player for us at the left wing. We generally see bad ratings from Mortalisao, but we don't see bad ratings from the position. When Theo Jim is playing there, for example, he gets fines ratings. If Benedisa is playing there, he gets fines ratings. Fines ratings. Learn the language. We're not sitting back and playing cowardly against Barcelona anymore. We are, we're the defending La Liga champions. We're going to go out there and play our game. Raspadori plays out to Kiki, the player I mentioned being a bit worried about. Good pass in there. Keeps driving in. And eventually it looks like Kasama got in the way, but they will get a corner out of it. Historically, defensive midfield has been a spot of poor rating in my system, but Gayabua seems to post a solid enough rating from me. So it's, again, not something I'm concerned about. Cessignon is aging out a bit. He's 30 now, so we'd like to find our right back of the future. I suppose it could be Quadri Ekong, who we just sent out on loan as a 16-year-old, 17-year-old to the third tier, but hasn't been developing quite as much as I'd like. During the summer window there, I tried to scout for basically Ahmed Samis. I tried to find midfielders and defensive midfielders who were pacey and had some marking and tackling capabilities. Like, okay, can I transfer, one of those guys back to left back, right back, or both, depending on their preferred footedness, whether it was to, good opportunity, good save by Babangida, whether it's to find a replacement for Cessignon or to find someone to rotate with Sammy and maybe replace Enzo Boyama going forward. Probably should have gotten a shout in earlier in the first half. Since we're still coming off that halftime team talk, it's not really essential now. I'll try and hit him up in the 60th minute or so, assuming it's applicable still. Gaibo back to Hamidi. There we go. Find Cessignon. Has a little open space. Leading Serge. I think that's Aristide Kone. A good shot. Manti saves. I'll take the corner. Unfortunately, again, Hamidi and Kasama are not the two that are generally going to find a header, and Serge Kone not either. They might get their head on it, but it's not going on the net. That is something we'd love to have, especially as we know the engine does love to give center backs with good jumping, good heading, lots of goals on set pieces. And set pieces are just efficient, even with mediocre heading talent. So, good diving save from Bamagita. Might have been going wide, but hey, I'd like to see the flash. Well, that's going to be a goal, and it's going to be offsides. Oh, I saved it, but, he was offsides. He just completely lined up offsides. It's a little irritating, even seeing other teams do it. Just like, hey, AI, why don't you do the most basic thing, line up on sides instead of obviously offsides. It's not even like it was jostling and, is he going to put a foot out of the line? No, he was very clearly not on sides. Bring in Santos here on the right wing. Sure, we'll go Ananu right back. And run a little more clock. Right now I'm leading Kasama. Yeah, let's put in Matsima for Kasama. He's on a yellow card, only having a kind of okay day. And it's a fine day, but... Alright, and we'll have the throw in here. Finds Jeffrey Santos, beats the defender. Dribbling out, and goes for the shot. Not an amazing one. So, this year we're banking on continued development. We still do have a lot of reasonably young players who got better last year. Hopefully can still get better this year. Prime developmental time in Football Manager is 16 to 18, obviously, but they're almost certainly not good enough to... Okay, Gavi takes it, but again, their entire team lined up offsides. It's not even remotely close. Like, this is going to get picked up in football parlance. American football parlance. Yeah, come on. What are you doing? Match engine not reflecting reality. So yeah, we're going to hope that the fact that we have all those green arrows, that our players are just used to playing with each other now. Looks like they'll get one more corner here as time expires. In swinger, so a little dangerous. Matsima is in the wall, so it's better than Kasama. Calgary goes short. It's headed out. That'll be it. So yeah, we'll see your players continue developing. 16-18 is obviously prime developmental territory. 15-18, excuse me. But oftentimes those players will be in the youth side. Then 18 to 21 is the best time for development. 22 and 23, you can still get some decent development out of players at those 2 years. After 23, so 24, 25, 26, and 27, you can still get a little bit out of players, but generally not that much. It's more players who had potential, but then maybe didn't fully realize it before they were 23. That's who will develop in those years, and then after 27, there's nothing left in terms of potential really, and for players to develop. So someone like Bennett Issa, who we got a bit older than we would have liked, but is still 22, so he's still got a little bit of potential to develop for us, and his professional mentality certainly helps with that. So that's our situation. We beat Real Betis 3-0 on the road. We beat Rayo Vallecano 6-0 at home, and we just drew Barcelona. So 7 points through 3 games, including one of the 2 scariest games on our schedule. It looks like we open and close, unfortunately, against Tottenham. So that will be tricky, but hopefully we'll do well enough against them and rack up all the points we can against Benfica and Feyenoord, and advance out of the Champions League group stage this time, make it to the knockouts, and then have the run put together that this is the year. Year 10 is the year. But we'll see how it goes. I will continue scouting and looking for players, both short-term and long-term, to help the team. Try and find them. It's hard with the restriction. And even then, finding players who actually still want to come here. There are still definitely players who... the true, when I unticked the interested in transfer window, Alphonso Davies, Tariq Lamptey, and Wesley Fofana all popped up. Now, do I want any of those players? Kind of. I mean, I would take Alphonso Davies in a second. Especially, but they are all 29, and Davies in particular is making $27 million a year, which is, I think, probably half what we're paying for our overall team. Let's check our team overview. Team detailed. We are paying out... No, we're paying out $41 million in salary. I was thinking we were closer to 54, and hee-haw. We've managed to keep our salaries relatively low and sane. We certainly... so when we nearly lost Jeffrey Santos to Stuttgart, they came in and triggered his $40 million release clause. Luckily, it said next to him that he was still willing to negotiate with us, and he was less interested in Stuttgart. So we just said, hey, name your contract, and he said, okay, $3.87 million through the next 5 years. He's 21, raised his release clause up to like $80 million, $78 million. And $3 million is, very fair given our wage scale. It makes him the second most expensive player on our team, but given how solid he's been for us, it certainly seemed like a fair request to make him the second highest paid player on our team. So that's where we're at. It's good to be back. New year, same team, new year. Hey, we're up to a legend now. Cool stuff. None of our current players. I mean, Charles Abbey is a current player's favorite personnel. I still don't know. They love that guy for some reason. And Iker Hernandez, who played his role. So thank you so much for joining me. I always do love to hear from you, so don't hesitate to leave a comment to get in touch with me. And I hope you have a very lovely day, and I'll see you soon.